hate to break it to you, I think that we've just got a very, very selfish culture of women. And to any women out there that say I have internalized misogyny or anything like that, that would require that I have a problem with women worldwide. I do not have a problem with women worldwide. I have a problem with Western women. And if you think that I'm just like making this up out of nowhere, reflect on the fact that there are Western men that are flying out east to find wives. Are Eastern men coming out west to find wives? No. Where in the world are men flying out in droves to marry American women? Nobody wants us. Why? We're big, we're selfish. We don't want to hear anything. You can't tell me to eat less. You can't tell me to change my life. You can't tell me it's not about me.
Oh, so fabulous.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel once again. It's your girl Dumebi. If this is your first time coming across my channel, you're welcome. I do hope you decide to subscribe, and if you are a returning subscriber, you guys know that I love you. It's so good to have you here. Welcome back. I hope you guys are doing okay. So today's video is going to be another video about the passport bros, and I hope you guys are not tired of this topic, because obviously there's always going to be something to talk about passport bros. At this point, I feel like I should even probably make it into a playlist or something. You know that dragon you're trying to slay, when you cut off one of the heads, you discover it has several other heads. That is what this topic is starting to look like at this point. And of course, I had to make this video because we're coming at it from a different angle today. Because you guys, the white women, the palm-colored women have spoken up. And I actually did not know that they were affected or they were outraged by what is going on. So they came out to make it known. So if you're not really caught on about the whole passport bro situation, I've made 2 videos about it before. You guys can check those videos out. But a brief explanation: men from Western countries are actually leaving their countries, and they're making it known, you guys, because they're coming out on social media and talking about it. They have a whole hashtag. They are there hyping each other up, hyping the foreign women that they are, you know, going to meet in these other countries, because they feel like these women are better wife materials. Yeah, these men are actually making it known that they are leaving their countries, and they're actually stating why they are leaving their countries. They are opening podcasts and they are talking negatively about the women in their own Western countries and why they want to leave these women to go to other countries. That is the whole long and short of the story. So yeah, I think at this point you're all caught on, I hope, just in case you didn't know. So I'm going to go right ahead to play the videos by these white women who had something to say about the passport bros.
Why do you think so many men are traveling overseas to find wives in other countries?
Men are traveling overseas to find wives. Why? I'm right here. I'm single.
No,
why?
no.
I want to be married.
Right, but I'm saying, do you typically see women traveling overseas to find
men are
husbands?
traveling overseas to countries that have less money and less education, it's because they want a woman who is dependent on them for their livelihood, for their resources, to have a good life. And I don't think that that is a good thing.
A lot of the men I know that go overseas to find wives are not great dudes.
Can you be more specific?
Yeah, they're pervy.
You think those women are ignorant slaves, or are they happy?
I think they're doing what they think they're supposed to.
Well, f you. Go away. Go find your women wherever you want. If you want a woman who barely even speaks English and just has to suck your dick, go for it.
Well, I'm just asking on behalf of...
This is my perspective on the passport bros conversation. Look, I'm young, I'm fit, I got a fat ass. 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, amazing credit, I make over 6 figures. I have a Roth IRA and every benefit imaginable for me and my children on my dime. My own car, active co-parents, I love to cook, and it's been said that I've got some good, right? Never once in the history of me being an eligible bachelorette have I expected a man to send me gas money, babysitting money, and drop $400 to $500 on the first date, or any date for that matter. You guys take these one-off ass bitches and use them to throw shade on us and justify what you want to do, which you could quite literally do with no judgment or shade. But while y'all are throwing dirt on us, what you're not taking into consideration is you be expecting us to cook, clean, do the laundry, balance the budget, run all the household errands, drop the kids off to school and all their extracurricular activities with no help from you, manage all of your appointments and their appointments, stay in the gym 4 to 5 days a week with our hair and nails done, suck you off religiously, submit, and work full in time so you can come home and pay 50% of the rent, complaining about taking the trash out. Chill with the passport conversation before us good women end up in Daddy Habibi's lap somewhere in Dubai. You don't get the woman you want because you don't deserve her. Submission requires a type of environment that you don't have the capability to provide. Going overseas ain't gonna change that. Do better.
This is a huge red flag. The only men who like to go overseas to find a partner is men who like to prey on vulnerable women. Because when you go find a wife in the Philippines or Thailand or Eastern Europe or wherever these places are that are overseas, I'm assuming you mean they're more biddable, that they're less outspoken, they don't demand anything of you, that they're just happy to be rescued from their poverty-stricken life of no opportunity, and in return, all they have to do is subject themselves to your advances. So I do wonder at your motivation for why you want to go overseas to find a partner. Is it because you prefer your woman biddable, without opinions, unable to fight back, and vulnerable? Because if that's the case, you know what that makes you, right?
Have you heard of passport bros? Passport bros are men who understand that Western women have drunk the Kool-Aid past the point of no return and got their passports to enjoy happiness and peace with fit, friendly foreign women. I am not a sociologist. I am not an expert on all foreign cultures, and I certainly do not want to generalize. But I know that in some other countries, the women's rights movement, the gender equality movement, the equal rights movement are just not as advanced as they are here. And it seems like these passport bros like that. And to me, that's a little scary. I don't know. Take from this what you will, because I had never heard of it before.
My take on passport bros as an American who's lived in the Philippines for 2 years is that most Filipino women who are dating foreigners, they know English very well. They're smart. They're not uneducated. They definitely know what's going to happen and what's going on, and they know the expectations of what a possible marriage might entail. The part where I get a little worried is I've seen a lot of passport bros be, first of all, predators as young as 13 years old, and second of all, they seem very, very hurt and just like really jaded towards American women and kind of controlling and just really aggressive. So that would be something to consider as well if you want that type of personality as a partner. And also, when people move to the US, you know, they have a foreign spouse. Sometimes, not always, sometimes that foreign spouse is isolated, doesn't have very good connection. So if anything were to be bad or if they would need any help, I'm just worried that some people might not have the resources to get the appropriate help or support or community they need. But I don't care who you guys marry, if it's a foreigner or not. Obviously, I'm married to a foreigner myself. But I think there are just some parts to be cautious about. And then also just remember, a lot of American women have had really bad experiences with men. So when they see like that kind of rough personality go into another country and having women there, they might just be a little upset or triggered because they don't want women to experience things that they have also experienced. So that's my take.
Biggest issue with these passport bros aren't that they're getting passports and going to find the love of their life. I think when it starts to be kind of weird is when you only date people outside your country, right? Like if a passport bro were to say, oh yeah, I only date Asian women, right? That is a fetish. That's not a passport bro, right? Also, people who just like happen to find the love of their life in another country, I don't consider them passport bros, right? Passport bros are people who specifically go from country to country to country trying to find women, exotic flavors to dabble in, right? Passport bros are like, oh man, I can't find any good women in the States, so I'm gonna have to go somewhere else in the world. Like women are inherently different in every other country. It really starts becoming weird when you go to third world countries or countries that are not as advanced as ours and start telling women that you're gonna marry them so that you can take them to America. That's an issue, right? And a lot of these women are desperate, so they're going to take you up on that offer, right? And in a way, it's kind of manipulative. passport bros say that they can't date women in their own country because they are too aggressive and because they're not so submissive. So what they're telling me here is that they do not want a strong woman, right? They want someone who is going to be submissive to them. And what better way to find someone who's submissive to them than to find a woman who is at your beck and call? Because, you know, the only reason she's in the United States is because of you. Sounds to me like a lot of control issue, right? And to be honest, ladies, these aren't the type of men that we want anyway, right? These men want a woman that they can control. And because they can't find it here in America because it's frowned upon to like own a human. Here, they go to other places in the world where they can legally own a human.
But you have to understand, a lot of us, 46, be 47 soon, each day that goes by makes me more grateful that I'm divorced. I thank God every day that I'm divorced. If you want to get your passport and go overseas, you're welcome to it. Bye. I mean, maybe there you'll find women who are okay with being treated like doormats. I don't know.
Look, if you want to go abroad and find a traditional woman to spend the rest of your life with, that's totally okay. But what you have to realize is regardless of where you are in the world, energy doesn't lie. And just because a woman is more traditional doesn't mean she's an idiot. So if you're going abroad, you're getting your passport and you're going abroad with the intention to try to manipulate and gaslight women who don't speak English as well and aren't really accustomed to Western men and their mentalities and their manipulation tactics, know for certain that your energy is not gonna lie. Well, the main lesson here, to be really blunt, is to not feel like you're untouchable just because you got a passport and you're in another country. Because your energy can't lie. It can't. You gotta change your intentions in your heart and mind in order for your energy to change. You can't hide it. And they may not be able to tell what's wrong with you right away, but eventually they'll figure it out. And if they don't figure it out, when it comes time for you to meet their families, because again, these are traditional women, they don't do the dating, they go right into marriage, which means you have to meet her family and her dad and impress everyone in her family. If you do all of that successfully, then you got the traditional wife you wanted. Congratulations. Otherwise, before you catch flights, catch this reality check.
Whew. Some of those women are really triggered. Like, I thought it was just the black women that were speaking up, but to see all the Beckys that triggered, it is serious. And then let's not even get it twisted. This whole passport bro thing has been going on for many years. Men have been leaving their countries to go to other countries because they feel they will have better wife materials over there. And I think women too must have done that at some point. I mean, it's not just, we can't say it's just men that have done that, right? So the difference now, which is why it's having all the social media buzz, is that these men are making it known. And then there's social media, so they're coming out to talk about it, and that way they're also bad-mouthing the women in their countries, and those women, of course, are going to speak up for themselves and stuff like that. There's a whole hashtag. They're making podcasts and talking about these women from their countries in a way that is not so good and stuff. So that is why there's a lot of buzz around this whole thing. But aside that, it's not a new phenomenon where people leave their countries and go to other ethnicities, other nationalities, other cultures, other countries, other races to look for life partners. There's nothing new about it. So definitely there were responses to some of those videos by the white women. Let me play some of those responses.
And it's because they want a woman who is dependent on them for their life.
So it couldn't be because wokeness is destroying the family structure in this country. So it couldn't be because a lot of women in this country can't even cook a simple meal. It couldn't be because a lot of women in this country don't even want a man because man ain't shit. It definitely couldn't be because a lot of women in this country are boss bitches and think starting a family would ruin their career. I mean, it definitely couldn't be because a lot of women in this country would rather have an abortion than take responsibility for their actions, you know, and raise a child. I mean, it also couldn't be because a lot of women in this country think they're strong and independent women, but expect their man to do everything for them while giving nothing in return. Nah. It's definitely because they want somebody who's dependent on them and dumb and uneducated.
It's a thing that a lot of modern day U.S. women don't understand, and it's called accountability. They refuse to hold any. So one thing is where certain women will say, I don't want you, but they'll try to keep you hanging on this little string. And it's not that they don't want you, they just want to see if they can do better than you. And when they realize they can't, then they're going to reel you back in. So it's, I don't want you, but I don't want you with anybody else because I might want you later. So in that meantime, they're treating men like shit, and the men are waking up and we're seeing this and we're saying, "F that crap. We'll go to someone that actually wants to acknowledge my worth right off the bat." It's just accountability. That's all it is.
Okay, I like the fact that white women were so secure, are so secure in their natural beauty, their feminism, and their skills at being housewives, that even though Caucasian men were the original passport bros, the white women still didn't blow up, explode, and make asses out of themselves like the black female hyenas are doing. I like that. Oh, my bad. And what you say? Well, gee, they weren't online talking about being passport bros and bragging about it. No, you're right. The Caucasian men did worse. They brought the women over from the Philippines, over from Brazil, and married them in the white women's faces, and they still didn't act the way our black hyenas are doing. Mic drop.
I think two things can be true at the same time. You know, you have on one hand some of these white women, and believe me, not only white women that said this, some of the other women from the Western countries have said the same thing these white women were saying about passport bros. But on one hand, you have these Western women coming out to say that the passport bros are no good men, they don't make enough money, they are not checking for them, they're not the kind of men they want, they are this and they are that, basically making it look like these are men that are not even up to their standards in the first place. Like, you traditional women can have them, we don't want them, right? And on the other hand, these passport bros are saying they are leaving because the women are difficult, they are not very cooperative or submissive or all of that. The truth is, both parties can be right about each other at the same time. Two things can contradict each other but still be true at the same time, right? So now when you look deeper, they're complaining about the way the Western women are, the women in their countries are. They're too modern and all of that. But the thing is, you're complaining about the outcome of something that has been brewing for years and years. Something led to these women becoming the way they are. How about we talk about that? So now they chose the easier way. They chose to move, and I'm not going to shame them for moving. It's their choice, really. If they feel they want to go to the ends of the earth to find suitable partners, it's really their choice. You can't tell people what to do, and we cannot shame them. That is what a lot of these women are doing. They're shaming these men, and we know that that is not going to yield any positive results. You can't shame people into doing what you want them to do. Now, the question is, how did these modern women become like this that make you guys think they are unwifeable? There are two videos that I saw from women that kind of explained how this happened. Let me play those videos right now.
Men thinking our grandmas were happy is a product of women keeping their stories private and the culture of coddling men by not telling them things. And bravo, that's exactly what it is. But the girls weren't coddled in that same way. So the elder women in our families, in a lot of our families, told the girls, don't get married, stay single as long as possible, stay in school, get your degree, have your own money, have your own house, don't be running behind men, don't depend on men for nothing because they can't be depended on. Mama's babies, daddy's maybe. And then they would constantly talk about how they hated, not that they hated their spouse, but they would constantly allude to the fact that they wish that they could have had other choices. If they had the choice to go back and do it all over again, they would have left that man behind. Meanwhile, the man over here living in La La Land, thinking everything's hunky-dory, copacetic, but his wife ain't been satisfied or happy for the past 20, 30 years. And the boys in the family, they don't really spend a lot of time around the women like that, so they don't see those things. They don't hear those stories. They don't get that advice. I don't know what advice they got growing up, but based on my generation of men, I believe they got the advice of a man who finds a woman or a wife finds a good thing, and a woman should be A, B, C, D, and E, which is the whole submissive bullshit that we're getting nowadays. And it's that juxtaposition, which I think is the reason why men and women tend to butt heads nowadays, is because men were taught growing up, I think, based on how they act now, that finding a wife is kind of endgame. And the women were taught growing up, based on how we act now, finding a husband is literally the worst thing you could do. And so when you put those two people together and you throw them out in the world, nothing good can come of that. But I've seen quite a few TikToks and like statuses on social media about men saying that they're finally learning how to be by themselves and that they're okay with not having a partner. So I am very interested to see where this next step, this next phase of the manosphere, how this is going to turn out. Because it's very interesting. Yeah, we definitely got two different upbringings. We definitely were told two different things growing up. And I think that this is a big reason.
Here's a lovely little PSA that nobody asked for. You wonder why the divorce rate's so high? You wonder why there's so many women in their 20s, 30s, 40s that are not in relationships or not getting married just because they plain don't want to? Or why there's so many single moms in the world right now? It's very easy, very simple. Women are not accepting the bare minimum. Let me say that again. Women are not accepting the bare minimum anymore. If you want to be a partner, please be a partner. If you want to be in a relationship, please give benefit to someone. I can pay my own bills. I can make my own food. I can raise my own kids. I understand that you're tired at the end of the workday, but so am I. But guess what? Someone has to do the laundry. Someone has to make dinner. Someone has to watch the kids. If you're not going to do that with someone, then just don't do it. Because we can do it all ourselves. And we have a lot less socks to turn right side in the laundry. So thank you.
So you guys have heard it all. I think what I don't like about the whole passport bro situation is the fact that it's kind of pitting women against women. You see the women in these Western countries talking down on the traditional women that these men are moving to other parts of the world to marry, you know, to the Philippines, to Thailand, to Brazil, to some European countries. They are talking down on these women, talking about how they are gullible and they can be easily manipulated by these men because the men are predators, how these women speak little to no English, how these women are uneducated. But the truth is, the fact that someone is from another country that you think is not a Western country does not mean that they have no access to education, does not mean that they lack education or they cannot speak English. There are a lot of countries in the world that speak English, my country included. So they kind of generalize that everybody in that country is going to be uneducated, naive, gullible, easy to be taken advantage of. But you will be surprised to find out that that is not the case. So it is wrong for these women to generalize and speak down on these traditional women that the passport bros are going for. So I do not like the fact that women are now bashing each other, and then I do not like the fact that we are resorting to shaming the men. The fact that the women are also shaming the men is something that I think is just futile. It's going to be gender wars here and there. It's not going to create any solution. Nothing good is going to come out of that. Well, yeah, I think that's what I have to say about this topic. What do you guys think of this whole passport bro scenario? Do you guys think that at some point it's not going to be popular anymore for men to be doing this whole migrating from one country to another just to go and look for love? Do you think at some point it's going to die down and they will end up staying at home and looking for wives in their own countries? Do you think it's something that has come to stay? Please let me know. Then if you're a man living in these Western countries, do you believe in moving to go and find traditional women, or do you believe in staying because you can definitely find someone that you can wife up in your country? Just let me know. I really want to know what you guys think. Please, let's keep the comments as respectful as possible. I know topics like this usually like tick people off. Let's just make it, let's just keep the comments respectful. Please let me know what you think. I'll be reading your comments. Also, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, turn on notifications. That way YouTube is going to let you guys know whenever I have a new video up, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.